That's the spirit being too high for the body, correct? So when the spirit is too high for the body, that is where you are. That's what the same concept. So you must cleanse the body by lightening up the diet, allowing spirit in. Once spirit goes in, the first thing it's going to do is heal. It's going to allow your body, it's going to give your body what's necessary to heal. That's why
Mm.
you'll start, that's why a person that's fasting, what are they doing? They're lighting up. The body has attained too much energy or spirit in the body due to not being on the same level of diet or limit as the spirit. Cannot hold it, and therefore what have to do then, this is where meditation comes in. You have to deal with that. You have to eradicate that being from your body. You have to literally let them go and release them from you. And that's clearing meditation as well,
We are
which
chatting
again is
today
in my
to
page.
Dawood, all the way from the USA, about how can the body vibrate higher than the spirit. Dawood, would you like to start off our podcast introducing this topic? And I'm very excited to delve into this.
Yeah, so first things first is my name is Dawood Israel. Again, I'm a nutritional health coach, and I have a book called excuse me, Health Class, How to Heal Yourself. And you can get it on Amazon if you would like. And basically I teach the health class, and in the health class I teach my journey. And in my journey I had a heart attack. And in that taking place, there were a lot of things that I learned that I wouldn't have considered in the past. And in learning these things, what happened was is that I found myself um, finding that one of the reasons that I had the problem was that my spirit was vibrating at a speed faster than the body. And so it took the body out. But then on the other flip side, it can happen the other way as well, where the body will take out the spirit. And so we're going to delve into both of those, if I'm not mistaken, tonight. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. So I'm super excited about that.
Me too.
So what I wanted to do, if possible, I wanted to play a video, and then I'm gonna also read something as well, just to be able to set up tonight's conversation, because I want you to see it from a different perspective and hear it from a different perspective on what I'm saying, okay? And this is a video by Ellie Tom Elamine, and Athena Starseed was on here at the time. And she said something that was very profound, extremely, because it deals with the exact same concept. And so this is a great example of what I'm talking about. All right. So hold 1 second. Let me see if I can share this screen. Yes. Beautiful. Everything is good. I'm gonna pick this. Tell me if you can see it.
Yes,
You
yes,
can
I
see.
can see.
Okay, great. I'm gonna go ahead and hit play.
Be ready. Now, here is the vision that I want to share with you about.
Are you able to hear it? I didn't share it
Yes,
with the sound. Hold 1 second. Let me do it
yes,
this.
I can hear everything.
You're gonna hear it better like now, what I'm about to do now, okay? Here we go. I'm gonna start it back. I'm gonna start it.
About 15 years ago, I'm laying in my bed, I'm meditating, and I'm saying to the cosmos, I would like to see the Akashic records. I would like to have an experience of the Akashic records. I lay down and I'm meditating, and then all of a sudden, this yogi with a turban, white turban on his head, naked with a little wrap around him, shows up vertically over my bed. Okay? Dream, vision, I don't know. But I was in this meditation, and he opens this huge book, and he shows me these words that are moving like in golden script, this text. And I say to him in my mind, it's too big. It should be a microchip. The universe can't fit in a book. Now that doesn't make any sense. He looked at me. He looked at me with compassion, and he was like, he pulls me out of my body, out of my astral body, vertically through his body, and here's where I get electrocuted. Ah! shut it down, shut it down. So much energy. All this electricity was like burning out my fiber optics in my whole system. And I said, shut, boom, it went away and it shut down. And what I realized was I was asking for something that I had no vibration to hold. I didn't have the reception. It would have burnt my whole system up. So talk about that with fasting.
So this is what I wanted you to really understand. I wanted to let everybody see that, because that's the key. That I had never heard anyone explain that the way that she did. And that was it's such a powerful concept. I'm trying to stop the share. There we go. All right. So it's such a powerful concept, because what had happened was she was having a vision teaching her the lesson of, with every diet change and every liver change. Remember, she's moving towards breatharianism in this conversation. So in this conversation, she's talking to Ellie Tom, and he tells you, if you ever study him, he'll tell you to move to breatharianism. You have to do it step by step at a time. Don't try to rush it. Do it slowly. Take your time so that you can develop the vibration necessary in order to be in that space. So so what she was talking about is she was trying to rush it at first. But in doing so, she was in a meditative state, and the vision came to her and taught her this lesson. And the lesson was that you're not ready yet to walk into that stage. You still have to get your physical vibration or your physical body in the state to be able to accept full spirit, or else it's going to, like she said, explode. She would explode. And I want to relate this to, we are a battery, right? So our bodies are based just like a battery. And we have what is called a wattage rating also. The difference is we can increase our wattage rating and decrease, unlike an appliance. So all appliances have wattage ratings. If you put too much electricity into that, or too many watts into it, it's going to damage the actual item, right? This is spirit. So energy, spirit, prana, all oxygen, all of that is the same idea. And if it comes into the body, now what's going to happen is you're going to actually, too much of it, if you're not ready for it, if your body is not in alignment, it's going to damage it, right? So for instance, let's say I have cholesterol buildup, right? What is cholesterol buildup doing in essence to the body? What is it doing?
I assume it's trying to kind of get rid of the body or
No,
something like that.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that
Oh,
it does. I'm
oh,
saying,
oh.
what is cholesterol doing literally? Like if you just an
Oh, oh,
average
it's blocking the
person,
arteries.
thank you.
Or
It's
yeah, yeah.
blocking, right?
Sorry,
So
yes.
it's blocking the arteries. So now what's happening? Now you have pressure buildup. Now when the spirit or oxygen or air comes in and the massive of it comes, it's too much because it's blocked. So now you're not getting the full cycle. You're getting a portion of it. And so now that's like a resistor. You got what I'm saying? And so something's going to blow.
Mm,
You got where I'm coming from? It's the same concept.
yeah,
All
makes
that's the
sense.
same concept. Now, that's the spirit being too high for the body, correct? So when the spirit is too high for the body, that is where you are. That's what the same concept. So you must cleanse the body by lightening up the diet, allowing spirit in. Once spirit goes in, the first thing it's going to do is heal. It's going to allow your body, it's going to give your body what's necessary to heal. That's why
Mm,
that's why a person that's fasting, what are they doing? They're lightening up the diet. But let's say I've been eating meat all for 30, 40, 50 years. And now I go on a 21 day or 42-day water fast. I'm bringing H, which is the hydrogen atom, which is what? the creation atom, right? Everything is created from hydrogen, if you understand the periodic table, right? So everything is created from hydrogen, right? So one hydrogen is hydrogen, two hydrogen is helium. Helium is, you got what I'm saying? It builds just like that. Three helium is lithium. I mean, three hydrogen is now lithium. Lithium become, so that's all the way up the periodic table until we get to all the way up. It's period all the way up until you get to explosion of the stars, which is iron, until we get to iron. Then explosion of the stars creates all the other minerals, right? I mean, all the other molecules and atoms. So once that takes place, now we have, so that's creation. So what I'm saying is that it's the same idea when it comes to our body. Now you're allowing all that spirit in. Now the spirit, you putting hydrogen in with the water and oxygen, which is spirit. So now you got the creation plus spirit coming into the body, going to work. Now we're putting that in there. Now what's going to happen is what happens? People throw up. They get sick. They get dead. Why? Because the body for the first time has the opportunity to heal, and symptoms are the healers. What we're always trying to fight, which is the symptoms are the healers, right? So this is massive spirit going in, kicking out the devil, as they would call it. In religion, they would say kicking out the devil. That's the real kicking out the devil, right? Making the body or temple holy again, right? Because holy is what? Wholeness, come in bringing us back to health. So if the body becomes healthy, that means it's become whole or holy again. So it's kicking, quote unquote, the devil out. So now now a person might throw up. Now we got full spirit. But if you are, let's say that you trying to bring that spirit in and you keep eating the wrong thing, or you keep blocking the arteries more, or you're doing this and that. Now the spirit is going to take the body out. You got that? You clear on that concept, right?
Yes,
Now
yes,
let's
I
go.
understand. Okay, what you're saying, yes.
I mean, do you understand? Are you clear? Do you have a question on that
Yes.
before I switch to the other side? Because this is what you've been waiting.
Um, I think that you will talk about later, right? How someone can start their journey and they can actually do this, what you've done, right?
What you
So
mean?
let's keep that to afterwards. Like how can they actually do this? How can they actually raise their frequency and
Oh, okay.
get
Yeah,
their
we can.
body healer? Maybe give some examples later how they can go about their journey.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that. No
Yeah, at
problem.
the end. So that's only questions I have, but I understand so far. You can carry on.
Okay, great. All right, so now I'm going to read the second part because I want to make sure you've been asking for this every time I come. So I'm going to make sure you get a good understanding of this. Can you still see me?
Yes, I can see you.
All right. So I wrote this just for you. Okay. So it says,
Awesome.
huh?
Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah, I wrote this just for you. All right. So here we go. It says, most people think that they are one being in the sense of an individual. This is far from true. Okay. So what do I mean by that? What I'm saying is that most people don't realize that you are a symbiote being with your body. And this is where the error comes in. This is where our arrogance, this is why we can just put anything in the body. This is why we eat whatever we want to eat because we're so our ego has become so high that we have forgotten the trillions of cells that are living beings and bacteria that are symbiont with us. You got what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, it says um it says this is far from true. There are trillions of living beings that make up the body. Each one with its own thoughts, ideas, families, and so forth. These beings are intelligent and aligned with nature. That's a key point. There are many individuals that are more into their physical body than their spiritual body or being, right? And I'm sure you've seen that before, right? What happens when this takes place? The body awakens This is very important. The body awakens and is at the highest level of consciousness. That means the cell, those trillions of cells might be getting what it is that they're supposed to get in order for them to wake up and become back one with nature to 100%, right? Or at the higher level than where the person's spirit is resonating. You understand what I'm saying? The body awakens and is at the highest level of consciousness. The bacteria and cells of the body awaken to a higher level of consciousness than the spirit in the body. Nature is designed to remove anything that is out of alignment with natural, divine, universal law. So, what am I saying there? I'm saying this, that if we look at cancer, for instance, when I study cancer, I'm starting to realize like cancer is not a disease as they call it, like a disease in that sense. It is designed to take out a virus, and the virus is the being on the planet that is out of balance with nature. So when we become a virus, that's when cancer shows up. Do you understand what I'm saying? It
Yes, yes, you
actually,
mentioned this before.
oh,
I
I
think you
mentioned that before
mentioned
in the
it.
class. Okay, great.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I
Okay.
think you mentioned this before. I heard you say this before. I think even to me, like, when it comes to cancer or disease. Yes.
Right. So it's more so it's doing its job, right? Now, it says these beings are intelligent and aligned with nature. So now that one is and it's conscious now. It's awoke. You awoke it. There are many individuals that are more into the physical body and spiritual being. I did that already. Okay, let me see. Highest level of consciousness. The bacteria and cells of the body awaken to higher levels of consciousness than the spirit in the body. Nature is designed to remove anything that is out of alignment with natural or divine universal law. As an example of this, we find that ants, when infected with parasitic fungus, become what is known as zombie ants. And I'm using this as an example because I want you to really grasp this concept. The fungus actually controls the brain and the body of the ant, just like bacteria does with us, right? Forcing them to act in ways that spread fungus. Like the immune system of a metazoan body that specifically targets and eliminates infected cells, ants destroy infected brood to stop the pathogen from completing its life cycle, therefore protecting the rest of the colony. Now, watch this. The fungus, just like cancer, robs the ant of its nutrients and takes control of its spirit, oxygen, or air. The fungus robs spirit through mind control, while cancer does this through mass glycolytic replication. So I don't know if you're familiar with glycolysis, right? But this is how ATP is formed in its initial state. The difference between cancer and a regular healthy cell is that the cancer will stay in glycolysis while a healthy cell will move into the Krebs cycle, allowing the mitochondria to be able to get the fullness of the ATP. And it's going to create 38 ATP versus 2 to 4 ATP. You got what I'm saying? So now you're getting more
Yes.
energy. But so cancer robs the body of oxygen, air, fats, and lipids. I mean, which is fats, lipids, and protein, excuse me. So it takes all your food and sugar because it's multiplying so fast because it stays in the glycolysis instead of moving into the Krebs cycle. So it's taking massive of sugar, which is food for us, right? So it's taking your lipids, your proteins, it does all of that. Just like this fungus is taking the nutrients from the ant, never allowing the cell to move into the Krebs cycle. Both cancer and fungus develop in the best conditions for its survival. As a matter of fact, the fungus is highly specialized to target specific ant species, meaning it can identify its preferred host through chemical cues on the ant's exoskeleton, effectively selecting the most suitable ant to infect and manipulate its behavior for optimal spore dispersal. That is called, that's dynamic. What this means is that the fungus can determine the weakest ant. In other words, it's really the other way around. It's the fact that this ant, nature is written, this ant, because it's weak, is a virus.
Mm.
And we need to get rid of it. So this is how that is done. This is the process. You understand what I'm saying? Now,
Yes, yes.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, I'm just thinking about, what you're saying is it affects the weakest one. So what you're saying is cancer would affect the person that's the weakest, who's the unhealthiest in a way.
Correct. It does that on purpose because it understands that because it's weak, because of the low level of consciousness, that it will cause havoc on Earth. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to continue, okay? Because you're going to
Yeah.
really, you're going to love it. You're going to like this. All right. So a spirit that would, in essence, okay. So okay, okay. So let me continue. What this means is the fungus can determine the weakest ant, just like cancer can detect a weakened body, just like you said, and just like any prey, I mean, excuse me, any predator can detect the weakest of the herd. Right? It can do that. It's automatic. In this case, the body can detect a weakened spirit, a spirit that would, in essence, cause havoc on earth, or simply is not aligned with nature or divine universal law. A conscious body with a non conscious spirit will kill or eliminate this virus, non conscious spirit, from the earth. So, a conscious body that has a non conscious spirit is going to eliminate it, or this virus, from the earth, because it's going to consider that spirit a virus because it's on a lower level of consciousness than the actual beings that are inside of it, right? That's why I said we're not a singular being. We are a divine universal structure with multiple entities inside of us, all with symbiotic harmony. And when anything, just like they found out with type 2 diabetes, it's not sugar, it's the fact that they're not communicating. They've broken off. So they're not a part of the symbiotic being anymore. Therefore, your liver or pancreas cannot produce the insulin that is necessary because a lack of communication, because of the lack of spirit in the body. You got what I'm saying? It's the same concept all the way around. It's
Yes.
designed like that. This is purposeful. It's not accidental.
Hmm.
A conscious body with a
Yes.
non-conscious spirit will kill or did you have something to say? I'm sorry.
No, no.
Okay. A conscious body with a non-conscious spirit will kill or eliminate this virus slash non-conscious spirit from the earth. That is why it is mercy. And this is a key word. This is what she was saying. She didn't take the mercy. So remember that Swami did like this. Poor little girl. And now she he opened up the book and said, "Come on." And she got electrocuted because she didn't take the mercy. This is mercy. That is why it is mercy that allows each level of consciousness within the body to be unlocked with the diet so that both are vibrating at the same rate. The main danger that could emanate from one that had a low level of consciousness but was allowed into higher gates of consciousness through their body is that they would begin to manipulate people and destroy nature, right? Which we see every day. This is the realization of what we know today as being carnal. That is the true carnal idea. You understand what I'm saying? Because carnal is your body, you're into your physical, but you're not into your spiritual. That's what carnal is. You feel what I'm saying? So
Yes, yes, you kind of part of your animal nature in a way, rather than the ascended being.
exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, so this is why the body will can will take out the spirit. This is why. This is the concept. So if you have to have them both vibrating at the same speed, right? Or else one will take out the other. Either the spirit is going to take the body out, or the body is going to take the spirit out. Yeah.
Mm.
So that's the
Yes.
concept.
Wow. Wow. That is so well explained. Thanks so much. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm welcome.
Tell me, can you give us the explanation for the other way around when the body takes out the spirit? You said it's also the other way around.
No, I was saying, so I already explained to you last week, I mean the weeks before. You want me to do it again?
Yes, because this person, the people that listen to this podcast,
Okay.
maybe it's they haven't heard the previous episode. So let's recap that from the other angle as well. Sorry, I
Okay,
know we're
no
not
problem.
supposed to, we have a specific thing that we wanted to discuss, but just recap it quickly so we understand that side as well.
No, that's fine because this is what this show is supposed to be about. So I apologize. So I kind of went through that, but I can read. I got that written out too. Hold one second.
Ah,
I'll go over that for real for you for fullness. So it says every level of consciousness is open through a change from diet to live it. The higher the live it, the higher the consciousness. Okay. So this is a very important thing. It's a teacher in the kingdom of Yah from Demona, Israel, by the name of Sar Yadiel. And Sar Yadiel, he taught a class talking about volumes of knowledge. And this was very key because when the breath of life was breathed into Adam, that breath of life was the word there for nostrils is the same word for volumes. It was volumes of knowledge that was being breathed into Yafak. I think that's the word that was breathed into Adam. Now, when that volumes of knowledge, the key thing that I learned was that it is unlocked through live it, from diet to live it. Meaning, when you start lightening up the diet and you start eating live versus dead, that's number one. Because you got to ask the question, what makes you think you can eat something dead and bring forth life? That doesn't make bad sense, does it? So you want to eat living, you want to eat that which is live, alive for your body to bring forth life. As you lighten it up, then you're able to unlock realms of consciousness. Why? Because more spirit can flow through the body. And this is what I was talking about. That's why I went through the whole cholesterol piece and all that. So when the spirit can flow through the body, it's unlocking levels of consciousness. But you need the spirit to be able to discern the knowledge that's being opened in the body so that you can be in alignment with the symbiotic beings in the body, right? As we were talking about before. So now that you're doing that, now you're able to go into new realms of consciousness. So let's think about it. For instance, the average person back, especially when I was younger, especially when I was coming up, my generation, the first time you ever hear someone changing their diet, it was usually removing swine. These were Muslim usually, right?
mm,
Everybody, when you change your diet, as soon as you change, the first thing they would ask you is, are you a Muslim? We related food with consciousness. We related them. We related food with consciousness always. But we forgot. It's like we go and forget it. So now a person moves forward. They might become pescatarian. They might become vegan or vegetarian. We disassociated with it. But that's why there's a kosher diet. Why is there a kosher diet? Why is there a halal diet? Because what it teaches you is I can defile or become unholy, which just simply means unhealthy, by what I'm putting in my body. So I can at least, there are certain foods that literally will cut spirit off from my body. This is key. Oxygen, air, spirit, however you want to call it, prana. There are foods that will cut it off. You feel what I'm saying? But in the same sense, there are foods when you lighten the diet because it's always removing. I don't care if it's halal. I don't care if it's vegetarian. I don't care if it's vegan. All you're doing is removing. You're lightening up the diet, allowing into the body more spirit.
Mm.
Right? You understand what I'm saying? I know you do,
Yes.
but I'm just
Yes.
saying. Okay.
Yes,
So
you're talking to the audience as well in case somebody's
exactly. And I
listening.
want you
Yes.
to, if you're clear, I know that they're going to be clear. That's why I make sure.
Of course, yes.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So this is key. However, in certain instances, one can receive information that is on another level of consciousness that the person has not attained that level of livitary or dietary discipline. In other words, they now are being blessed, but you will usually get the message like I did. I got the message I was supposed to go raw for 3 years in a row, 3 years before my heart attack hit. You have to go live. You have to, why? Because the information I was given, I was teaching the creation series, how to create anything in your realm in reality. I was receiving a level of knowledge and information that in order for me to ascend, and I'm teaching, we are Elohim, we are gods, we are, you got what I'm saying? To ascend to that level of understanding and concept, there is a dietary or livitary requirement to unlock and be able to walk into that space and realm. But I was not, I was hard headed. So therefore, I got a heart attack because I couldn't handle the spirit. Do you understand what I'm saying? I
Yes.
was,
You didn't want to go. So you went raw vegan at that stage
no, I
when
was
you got
vegan.
you were no just a vegan and
Just
you
vegan.
ate cooked food and you got a heart attack.
Yes, absolutely. I was
Oh,
a
okay.
starchaholic.
I didn't know that you got a heart attack already after you've gone vegan.
Yes, yes. After years of being, I was vegan for about at least 10 years. Might have been 15, but 10 years at least. At least 10 years I was vegan
Wow.
when I had my heart attack. Why? Because I was a starchaholic, because a true vegan, because veganism, you can eat fries and be considered a vegan. That's not healthy. You can
Yeah.
eat starch, I mean, pasta and rice, and that's all that stuff's bad. It's terrible. It's terrible. That's don't eat that. But I'm just letting you know, like, I was a starchaholic. So therefore, I could not unlock that level, but I was given that information. This is happens rare. This can happen. That's why when Moses went on the mountain, what did he have to do? It didn't say he fasted.
Mm.
That word is not used when Moses went to the mountain. It said he did not eat or drink for 40 days and 40 nights. Why? Because he was on a breatharian journey. He had to ascend to the level of a breatharian for those 40 days in order to be able to receive the 10 commandments. He could not receive that level of spirit and information, right? Had he not done that. Whether you look at that as a story or a metaphorical, or if you look at it as true, right? It doesn't matter. The point is that is the purpose or the moral to that paragraph. You understand where I'm coming from? He had
Yes.
to ascend. Every time you get ascending in knowledge, you must ascend and live it. You cannot. That's why fasting is what? Spiritual. Yes. It's always been spiritual. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's allowing the spirit to enter the body. You had to be filled with spirit. to be able to do that. That's the key. So when you understand that, now sometimes you get that bonus. That's what she was asking for. She was asking for what I received and had a heart attack. She got to get the message through a vision. I had to go through it through real life experience. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why I
Yes,
played that video at first. That's why I played that video because I
yes,
know exactly what she's talking about.
yes.
Okay. So I got the message 3 years before the spirit was telling me. I mean, it was so strong. I was telling people I'm vegan, but I have to go raw. That's how serious it was. But I was hard headed. So therefore I went through that. That night when I had the heart attack, I went raw immediately. Right then.
So
No
this
question.
is so what you're talking about is the spirit vibrating higher than the body and how can it damage it? And then what you
Correct.
were talking about at the beginning is how the body
At
can
first I
vibrate
was talking
higher.
to, so I went from the spirit not being able to get through the body, therefore damaging the body. Then I went to the body damaging. I mean, now it's going to get rid of the virus, which is a low
Yes.
level spirit. Then I'm talking about this back to the beginning again, the spirit
Okay.
that's going to take out the body, which is what happened to me, right?
Yes, yes,
I'm just blessed to be alive. I was almost dead. Like I almost
yes.
died. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like for
But
real. This is real.
weren't you questioning it and weren't you a bit upset when you realized that you've been eating healthy? Okay, you might not have been eating 100% healthy, but you cut meat out, but you
I
still
wasn't
had
I,
starches.
I wasn't
Um,
upset at all.
sorry,
I wasn't upset at all. I'm gonna tell you straight up.
because you were
First of all, I
still
wasn't eating healthy. See,
you were,
I want you to be clear. I want you to be very clear. Our body is not designed to eat those things. Well, I was eating better than I was before as a meat eater. Yes, that could be possibly true. But was I eating healthy? No, because vegan is not healthy. That's not healthy. Now, plant-based vegan is better, but every time I cook a food, I'm creating what? A carcinogenic compound. So if I cook something, I'm automatically creating a carcinogenic compound. Two, I'm changing this DNA structure. My body does what? It automatically encapsulates it in mucus, meaning it's not allowing me to get anything out of it because my body considers it what? A foreign substance. So am I eating healthy when I eat vegan? No, I'm not. So it was a great lesson for me. As a matter of fact, I consider it one of the greatest blessings I've ever had, the heart attack. But I'm saying that to say that I was hard headed. I didn't hear the voice. See, remember in the beginning, Adam and Hawa, what did they do wrong? They hid themselves, or they tried to, because of course you can't, but they hid themselves from the presence of Yah. The voice the voice in the garden said, "Where art
Mhm.
thou?" Right? The
Mhm.
voice walking in the cool of the garden, and they said they hid themselves from the voice. That's what I was doing. I wasn't hearing, but now I listen very well. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm hearing all the time because I'm clear now. So it ended up being one of the greatest blessings to ever take place in my life. So I want to be very clear. No, I'm not upset at all. I am very clear. I created that moment. I created the heart attack. I created all of that. All I had to do was do exactly what the voice said, and that was go raw. I would have been fine. You understand what I'm saying? So
Have you received this message before that time, but you
yeah,
didn't
3 years.
listen?
For 3 years
So
before
was it
I had the heart attack.
was it an audible thing in your head, like a message
Yes,
in your head saying go raw, or what were the
all the time
words?
until the day I went raw.
You heard go raw and go raw and
Go
go
raw, go raw, go raw,
really?
go
Okay.
raw,
And you
go
did
raw.
you know about it at that stage, what being raw is and
Yes, I knew exactly what it was. I had studied it before. As a matter of fact, I had studied all the way to breatharianism when I was about 30 something years old. The issue was the internet was just at dial up at that time, and there was no information
Mm,
on breatharianism except negative information about it from disbelievers. So I didn't know about the books and all that were out at that time. I didn't even know there were, I mean, the people that they said were breatharian, it was like, they didn't have anything in that I could tangibly get to. But I had looked because I was considering going breatharian, look going breatharian, and I was like I couldn't find nothing on it. That was where the spirit had led me. That's how far ahead I was then. This what I'm talking about when I had the heart attack was almost that's 10, 15, about 15 years, even longer than that. As far as then when I had the heart attack. But I was vegan all that from for about 15 years before I had the heart attack, or 10 to 15 years. So then, but the 3 years prior, I had been going into the creation series teaching. I was given to me. I told you that was given to me. So the instruction was once I got that information, the instruction was go raw. I didn't do it. I taught the class, but I didn't go raw. So I was getting this information. I was growing like
mm,
my mom. I was like, man, I was doing leaps and bounds. But when I went raw,
mm,
what happened was that was amazing
mm,
is the people that showed up, the
mm,
environments I ended up in. And all of these people would let me really understand that with every diet change or live it change, there is a new level of consciousness, is because when that happened, I ran into massive raw people. All of them were on the same level of consciousness with me. And then I realized why people fall off in your life, because as you ascend on these level of consciousness, they must fall off. It's not the fact that you want them to, it's not that you want them to, you love them and all that, but two forms of matter cannot occupy the same space at the same time, or two forms. So you're not going to be in that space with them. You're going to elevate to another space. No disrespect. It's not I'm better than anyone. It's not about being better. It's more responsibility, as a matter of fact. But it's not about being better than, it's about understanding, okay, I'm in this realm now. This is another layer of consciousness. See, I'm very cognizant of what's going on around me and who I'm in the midst of and who can be in my space and who can't. And if something shows up in my space that I don't like, I understand that's a part of me. I got to find them in me to get rid of them. And when I do, either A, they don't show up, or they show up as a new being. It's going to be one of the two. It happens all the time. Not all the time now, but at first it did.
just explain this for us and the audience. Just again, what you're talking about, like, you're saying that you have to look inside to see because we create our own reality, right?
Yeah,
So
so do me a
if you're
favor.
creating,
Let me finish this part, and then we'll do that right after.
okay, yeah, you finish, okay?
Is that fair? And I
Yeah,
will go
that's
right
perfect.
into that. Okay,
Okay.
so as it states, in such case, a body has attained too much energy or spirit in the body due to not being on the same level of diet or live it as the spirit. Cannot hold it and therefore will explode or die. So the body will explode or die like we saw there. We see this same phenomenon in circuits. I already talked about that, right? I dealt with the circuits and how that works. So each item has a rating or amount of energy that is designed to be able to handle, measured as a wattage rating. If you exceed the wattage rating, meaning putting more electricity into the appliance than the wattage rating, it will damage and destroy the unit. This is the same concept that we find in the body. The difference with the body is that wattage rating increases or decreases based on your diet or living. So we could change the wattage where the appliances, like I said before, cannot. And so the spirit, yes, will take out the body. I've been through it. I lived that. Right? So yeah, yeah. So yeah. That's real. That ain't no joke. Okay. So now where did you want to go?
You were mentioning about people, how when you change your diet, then people will fall off, around you, you will
Yes.
lose them. Some of the people might disappear from your life.
Yes.
And then you mentioned that, we create our own reality, and
Yes.
that person is in your life that you don't want it to be like somebody that's you feel like it's triggering you, or something like that. And then you
Mm.
have to find it within yourself. What
Mm-hmm.
is that you believe about yourself that you're creating that person in your reality,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you
Yes.
said you will find
Yes.
something that you would be creating,
Yes.
and then you're going to then that person will be replaced by someone positive, or someone that will match your frequency, if you realize what are the negative beliefs that you need to get rid of, right?
Correct. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. So
So can you give us an example, like
I'll give you a
some
real life example.
like real life example that happened? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I've had I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you two examples. So it was a sister. I'm in Ghana, and there's a sister there, and I was teaching the creation series basically during the Shabbat. And so she was like, I don't agree with you. She did what Athena did to the yogi that she saw, right? So she said, I don't agree with you with that, da da da, this and that. I said, okay. So the next day, I believe it was the next day. It might have been the same day, but it was the next day, I believe it was the next day. She had a snake come in her room, right? And she running da 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 da. And she ran to me and she said, I know how I created that. You got what I'm saying? She said, I know how I created. She said, I did it. She said, I created that. Because her thoughts, she understood that her thoughts that she had dwelled on that snake, and therefore she created the snake and brought the snake to the room. You can do that. Okay, that's one. I'm gonna give you another example of that, and then I'm gonna give you an example of a person showing up. I got to think of a person showing up because it's been a long time since I've had a negative experience like that. I might have to just do that through esoteric right now because it's been a long time until like something clicks for me. But there was a situation where I got my phone got stolen. So I was in a bad neighborhood, quote unquote. And so my mom was on somebody gonna steal my phone. Like, and I'm thinking like, I'm that's on my mind, like in the subconscious part of my mind. So I go to one of the best neighborhoods in Chicago, one of the best ones, and my phone gets stolen, right? And so they were like, "Are you angry? Are you mad?" Da 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 da. Da. I said, "No." I said, "I had another phone." I said, "I created that. I know what I create. Like I know there's a formula for creation and you have to know it. Once you understand it, then and I teach that in the creation series on my Patreon. It's all I got all that on my Patreon. So when you learn creation, you're gonna understand that. So what I do, because I gotta think of somebody that showed up.
Oh, you don't have to worry about that now. You can just
I'm gonna
what
give you
I
an example
okay.
of how I deal with it more so.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just tell us that. Yes.
So I did have a person show up recently, but and I created them.
Oh.
But I want to say, okay, so how do I deal with it? I'll deal with it this way. So it's been a long time since somebody really shown up though. But when a person shows up now, I look at it, I'm almost excited when it happens because I know I'm about to go to the next level of development. Okay. So if let's say somebody shows up in there something in them I don't like, their behavior or this or that or something like that. Then I have to go back in me and I go find where they live in me. Oh, I did that the other day. Or I yelled at somebody the other day. Or I did this. You're going to find them somewhere inside of you. And what you have to do then, this is where meditation comes in. You have to deal with that. You have to eradicate that being from your body. You have to literally let them go and release them from you. And that's clearing meditation as well, which again is in my Patreon. But you have to clear them. You have to release them. Because once you do, believe you me, once you release that person from you, that person will come back as a whole nother being. I'm telling you, they will never act like that again. Like I got a group right now, I got people who were literally coming after me. Like I'm looking like, what in the world? Where did this come from? I mean, we cool, everything was good, and then all of a sudden it's like they turned into a whole different being. And I'm like, where is this coming from? But then once I cleared, now it's like they're not even at all. Like when I say messing with, they're not even they're almost like the opposite. Like they're running. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole nother. So I'm saying it's like when you clear, when you become, when you are one with you, you're not looking outside anymore. Outside is just a reflection of you. In other words, everything that's showing up in your space is a figment of your imagination. Everything that is happening to you, everything that has happened to you, and everything that will happen to you is a figment of your imagination. So, in other words, the only thing that's showing up in my space is me. So, if I become the best me that I can be, then the only thing that's going to show up in my space is that which is me, which is the best. If something shows up in my space that's not the best, that means there's somewhere in my subconscious, which is the heart, my subconscious mind, the body, the heart, subconscious, below consciousness. This is where so when you find when in your body, it's there. That's why I do the body meditation and clear the body. When it's in that subconscious mind, then what's going to happen is you're going to react, it's going to show up. And that's why I always teach this. Before, without, until you are totally clear. Clear means you can sit for an hour in silence and no negative thoughts come to your head. None, zero. Then you can do affirmations. Because when you do affirmations before you are clear, what you're doing is you're suppressing, you're actually in denial. You're suppressing the negative thoughts deeper into the subconscious, and you're putting old new wine on in old bottles. That's what you're doing.
Mm.
So now you be wondering, I'm correct. I'm always in positive thoughts. I'm doing this, and that. Why did this show up? Because you ain't clear. You didn't do the work. You didn't clear the body. You didn't do that. You didn't clear your mind. You haven't cleared. So it's showing up. Why did I get triggered when so and so said this? The scripture says what? The righteous, nothing will offend them. Nothing. So therefore, what does that mean? You're not clear yet. You haven't stepped into the phase of being clear or healthy or holy yet. So now what happens is now something triggers you. Now you have to, that's just all that is the blessing. Oh, that lives in me. I can go find it now. See, that's how I look at. I'd be like, oh yeah, I got it now. Oh, that's it. I'm done. Why did this show? For instance, my books. One, they came in. How did they do my books? First, they were late. That's number one. Then number two, they sent me the wrong books. And so I'm on the phone with a friend, and she's like, everything's gonna be fine. It's all right. I said, I'm not angry. I said, I'm not angry. I'm just serious right now because I'm trying to find how did I create that? Right? So I'm like, I'm not mad or nothing. I don't get, I'm not angry because I created it. I know it's showing up because of me. So I'm like, how did I create this? That's where I go. It's the first place I'm gonna go. Okay, I found it. Or if I don't find it, I'm gonna keep searching until I get it. Then I'm gonna find where I created it because it's gonna always gonna be based mostly in who you're being or who you were or somewhere like that or your integrity. So now I'm like, okay, all right, I created it. Now I'm got to go find it and I release it. Once you release it, that ain't going to happen no more. It's not because you've dealt with it. You've learned the lesson. You're beyond it. So it can't show up in your space no more. And this is the same thing when, as you elevate in consciousness, those beings have to fall off because they were there for that level of development. Now, when they come back to the next level of development, they'll show back up. But if they don't, they're not. And you have to continue to ascend. See, I'm not afraid of that no more. That doesn't mean nothing to me at all. It's just what it is. And then they'll show back up later and possibly or not. It don't matter because you're here. See, just like your people talk about they have children. Them ain't your children. Those are beings that have been here from the beginning of time, just like you. There's no new thing under the sun. That which has been is now, and there's no new thing under the sun. So if that's the case, if that's the truth, we've all been here since the beginning of time. We ain't never, and we're back over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? That's why you trying to create heaven on earth, literally, because when you come back, you don't want to be born into hell. You want to be born into heaven if you die this round. Because I believe in physical immortality, which we're going to get to in the future, I believe. We weren't never meant to die. So why are we dying? Because we choose to. We create it. So if that's the case, then why aren't we just moving forward and doing what we're supposed to do? Because we haven't learned that lesson yet. We've lost it. We failed. So we're coming back. So we have to ascend. And our goal is to continue running and ascending forward. Don't look back. That's the past. That's gone. That's done. That's just a figment of your imagination. I mean, that's just your memory. So if you keep looking into your memories in the past, let's say this is how you really create negativity. You people have things stored in their past. They made it mean something, right? It means something to them. So now they're imagining their past, and by imagining your past, the imagination creates the future, right? Life is a conversation, meaning either you're having a conversation with yourself or somebody else. Honey, I'm going to the store. That's a conversation. You end up at the store. You think to yourself, I'm going to the store. That's a conversation. You end up at the store. You're imagining it. The future lives in your imagination. That's why anything that you can believe in and conceive, you can achieve because you can. The cell phone existed all time in infinite possibility. But people, it was the imagination that was able to go out and grab the cell phone and bring it into physical form as we see it today. You understand what I'm saying? That's the
Yes.
imagination. But if I'm imagining my past, which most people are doing all the time, if I'm imagining my past, then what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep bringing it into the future. So I keep circling around. Why can't I get out of this circle? Because you keep thinking about what happened to you yesterday. You keep talking about what happened to you yesterday. You got to create a new reality.
Yes,
You got to
because
make
they say,
choices versus decisions.
yes, we create everything right now, even the past and the future. So it
Correct.
only now exists. So, um, like we can, if we're changing ourselves, we're changing the past as well. So it doesn't make sense, to get stuck in the past, like you said.
No, doesn't make
And
any sense.
yeah, no, you're 100% right.
Correct.
That's good.
The past is just the past is the lesson. that's why in the scripture you have what's called the Day of Atonement. The Day
Yes.
of Atonement is the day when you are now clearing all of those. You're doing introspection to be able to clear the negative reality, right? That you've done or the things that happened in the past. You are forgiven at that time. But here's where the problem comes in. The average person doesn't believe that they are forgiven. So the as the scripture says, it when you turn from all that you've done wrong, when you turn from it, everything that you've done will be not be mentioned. In other words, the word for mention is remembered. It won't even be remembered. It will be forgotten. But the only person that doesn't forget it is you. Therefore, it's locked in your memory. It's only in your memory. That's why if I take 10 people and put them in a situation, all of them are going to give me a different story. Why? Because all
Mm.
of them saw it different. It meant something different to each and every one of them. It's in their memories different. Now they're going to live off the memory that they created. The average person is. But it's not
Yes.
true. It's just a story they made up. It's just a story they made up. It's not true. There's nothing true about it whatsoever. It's just a story they made up. And this is what people are living in. They're living in these stories and they're allowing these stories to stop them from moving forward because they believe the lie that they were told or that they made up. You got what I'm
Yes.
saying? So let's say
Yes.
somebody said you were ugly. You're not ugly. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not talking about you personally, but I'm saying so
Yeah,
let's
yeah, I know what you
you're
mean.
not ugly, but if you take on that if you take it in and you make it mean something, then now you think you're ugly. So now you might live your whole life thinking you're ugly when you're actually a beautiful, wonderful person.
Yes, yes, because you believed what that person says. For some reason, you need to work on that, not to
Correct.
let it sink in, because that's not the truth. No, you're right.
It's not the
No,
truth.
thanks.
You just made it
Yeah.
mean something.
Yes.
That's key. That's the
No.
key point. You made a story, you wrote a story around it.
Mm.
And
No,
and
that
it
is
actually doesn't it's not it doesn't even exist. The story doesn't even exist. It's just something you made up.
yeah, no, no, what you're saying is really awesome. No, thanks.
Mhm.
And no, that really makes sense.
So that's basically, pretty much that. But the people are gonna show up according to who you're being. And when you understand it's all you, it's all everything I mean, is we're all one, we're all you. Everything's gonna show up the way you want it to show up, whether you know you're creating it or not. The blessing is once you know you're creating it, now you can do something about it, and life becomes exciting, it's adventurous, and it's fun. It's
Yes,
a
and
beautiful, it's a beautiful thing.
like you said, you are looking at your challenges as an exciting thing, because once you have a challenge, like something shows up in your life, then you know if you overcome it, then you release it and your frequency is even higher. So
You
you
will be.
are seeing the challenges not as a negative, you're seeing it as a positive, which is already more than probably most people can say, you know?
Exactly. And then the beautiful thing is, man, the people that begin to show up and who really the most beautiful thing is the people that show up. You can't even imagine that there are people like them or like them. Yeah, you can't even imagine. Like you're like, I didn't know that this type of person could exist on this planet.
So you came across since you've been raw and you're following this lifestyle and you became a teacher and you've got your online community.
Hmm.
Have your life evolved even to a high level, and people that came into your life, is it physically people or people online
Phys-
that you met, or
no, physically people. Yeah, physical.
uh, that's
Yeah, physical
amazing.
people. I'm saying the people that will begin to show up.
Mm.
You're gonna understand what I'm saying. It will be there'll be gifts. It'll be like a gift to you,
Mm.
and you'll know it. You'll know it because the gift. I mean, it'll be so perfect. It'll be you can't even you can't even imagine that they could exist, and that's a powerful place to be. That's a beautiful place to be.
Wow,
It's an
I love it.
amazing place to be.
Yeah, I
And
love
and that,
that.
and that's see, I'm gonna say one more thing and then we'll close out if you're comfortable.
Yes.
I'm saying this that the oh man, it's so important too. Oh yeah, most people have lowered expectation. See, you don't. Most people don't believe you can have perfect relationships. They don't believe you can have a perfect household. They don't believe you can. They don't believe that you can have perfect air, perfect water, perfect. They don't believe that. But really, you can. That's how everything was created in its beginning. So we are in relationships, we're in situations that are imperfect because we believe that's normal. That's not normal. We living abnormal. We're accepting lower standards because we have been taught and tricked and trained into accepting lower standards. You got what I'm saying? But believe you me, there is perfection out there. And the closer to perfection, the Creator said, walk before me and be thou perfect. Now, we were lied to through religion that you cannot be perfect, but you can. And the closer you get to perfection, what's going to show up in your space is perfection. And when you see it appear before you understand what I'm saying? And it's a gift, and you understand that you're worthy. Listen to what I'm saying. This is so deep right here. When you understand that you are worthy enough for someone to show up in your life that is perfect. I mean, when you're worthy enough for that to show up. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you can I mean that's how humbling it is. Like you are like, I can't believe that I'm allowed into the space where you're actually in on this planet. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have
Yes.
developed to the point where you're allowed to have a conversation with them. You're allowed to sit in their space. You're allowed. That is power. And I'm saying it's powerful. It's a beautiful thing when you can be cognizant and understand what you are allowed to be in and be a part of and really you have permission to go there because you can't get there unless you are vibrating at that level. You can't show up in that space. You can't show up. You
Mm,
feel what I'm saying?
exactly.
So it's
No,
beautiful. So
you're
you have
right.
to have the highest expectations. Like a person asked me this. They were like, "Well, I can't expect you to be, always happy and this and that." I said, "Oh, yes, you can." I said, don't you ever have lower expectations of me, and don't you allow me to sit in lowered expectation. Don't ever, anytime I'm not reaching the expectation, you let me know. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, you can. You should always expect me to be up and happy and chipper and this. I should never be down. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. On every level, you have to be you have to be the highest level of being you can be on every level at all times. If we are Elohim, if we are gods, right?
Yes.
Then is there anything too hard for Elohim? No. Even the creator, when he destroyed man during Noah's time, he said he repented of that. Excuse me, because I believe the creator is male and female. I can prove it. Script. I do a whole class on it called "The Power of the Woman" in my Patreon. So she said, I repent of the evil." So that lets you know We ain't never supposed to be on that frequency. And so I do my best. I've done very well. Done very well. I'm doing good. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I ain't perfect yet, but I'm on my way. I can tell you that. And what's showing up in my space is perfection. So I know what's showing up is a reflection, you know, it's a reflection. So I just keep cleansing, keep growing, keep doing that shadow work, keep cleansing. Yep, that's it.
Thanks, Dawood. This was a great message to close this session. And would you share with the audience where they can find you and all your details? I will also leave in the description below.
I appreciate you. You always do. So my YouTube is Health Class for You. It's Health Class for You. I'm locking in the name now. So Health Class for You. It's on YouTube. My Patreon is patreon.com/health class. I have a 7-day free trial right now. So I would take advantage of it if I was you. And I even have a 7-day free trial on the Getting High with Daooeed, which has my clearing meditations and all that. So I would try it if whoever wanted to do it, I would definitely do it now. Patreon.com/health class. So, oh, also I'm doing, well, you're in South Africa, but if anybody's in Chicago area, I'm now teaching at Studio Yogi. I'm doing live, um, I'm doing the clearing meditation and body meditation in person there. It's going to be 1:30 p.m. on the 23rd of this month, which is February 2025. And it's free. It'll be, I believe, the only free class you're going to be able to get that with me as far as the clearing meditation and body meditation. So I would invite you register at studioyogi.com, look up clearing meditation, and it'll be my class. So just it's 1:30 p.m. Studioyogi.com, and it is going to be on on Sunday the 23rd, which will be not this Sunday but the following. All right. Appreciate
Thanks, David, and definitely will leave these details below. And it was a pleasure having you again. Such
always.
great knowledge. If anybody would like to listen to these other podcasts that we have recorded, I'm gonna leave that also in the
Those are
description because
excellent.
those are also gold material, very important
Mhm.
lessons. And thanks again so much. It was such a blessing to have you.
You are beyond welcome, and I appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you again.
Thanks, David.